So before this video starts, I'm going to make an alt account for fun just to see how it turns out. And if you want me to, I will gladly make some content about it, right? Like I can do some highlights, some like videos regarding like my progression, things like that. I planned on making the account just for fun, but if you want to see some content about it, then I'll gladly make some content with it, right? But yeah, let me know about that. And now let's talk about my pretty big cosmic rank up dilemma. So I have three options here that I'm pretty torn on. All these characters are pretty fun and I think they all have a ton of potential, right? There is Vox, there is Gladiator, and then there is my newest 7-star Terrax. And I like all these champions, obviously. I love pretty much most champions in this game, but these guys are just super cool. Vox and Gladiator are both really new, and Gladiator had a bit of a rough start. His reviews so far have been very mixed, and for a Summoner's Choice champion, that's not what you want, right? But maybe there is something that we're missing. Maybe he is honestly a great champion, but we just haven't realized it yet. And me rank 5ing him could help me realize that, hey, he's honestly pretty good. Or like maybe, oh, he's actually just not that great, right? So he could be a pretty cool rank up to like find out the truth about Gladiator. And then there's Vox, who honestly hasn't really been talked about much at all post-release, even though he is incredibly strong as a champion. I think Vox has a ton of potential because the way he works just lets him take a ton of different things and honestly could be a top tier cosmic character, but we don't really know that just yet. But having him at rank 5 could really help me test him out and see just how powerful he is, right? So I want to maybe invest in him, see how good he really is, because on paper and from some gameplay, he seems amazing, but I don't know just yet, like how good he truly is. And then last but not least is Terrax. Terrax, of course, is just one of my most wanted 7-stars that I finally got, and this man has been delivering for sure. He is so fun to play. His damage output is honestly wild. Like his burst damage potential is crazy. So as a rank 2 7-star, that burst ceiling gets increased and he'll just do some even crazier numbers. So that sounds super, super cool. And he's also a great defender too, so he has a lot of value when it comes to like Battlegrounds and like Alliance War. So he is honestly a great dual purpose rank up. And of course there's other options like Icarus, Nova, even Super Scroll, but these three options I kind of want to take up the most because either one, they're really new and there's more to be discovered with them, or two, they are just really dual purpose and offer a lot for my account, especially Terrax. So these champions I think have made the final three. I might make a poll about it. I might just, take up a character or just see how the comments turn out. So now let's get a feel for each champion, right? Let's see how they perform against this Deadpool, just a quick sample of their damage, of what they can do. So first up is Terrax, and Terrax is a really, really burst heavy champion. You get your rock field, you just go all in, and then that usually just finishes off the opponent. And check this out, man. So when the rock field is up, we get a massive attack rating increase, and then we get armor breaks, and then we get just a massive heavy attack. So look at this damage output already, man. 10,000 mediums so far. We just got started, by the way. And then a 15,000 medium there. I drop a heavy attack of 51,000 damage. That is honestly just pretty wild, man. Like Terrax is a really strong burst champion. And now we have Vox, who does damage the opposite way. He is a very controlled and over time damage dealer, but his damage output can get insane. Like the degen is just so powerful, and these short fights don't do Vox justice. In like higher healthful fights, his damage output potential is just so strong. But here we have 19 degens already, and even in these short fights, he still takes them pretty dang fast. Because yeah, the way his damage works, he can just shred any health pool pretty much with no issues whatsoever. So here I drop the SB2 and the degen just gets really high up there, man. And yeah, just really reliable, really easy to play with Vox here, just a straightforward damage dealer. And now we have Gladiator. Now this man is one of the weirdest damage dealers in the game because it's spread across so many different things. He has his confidence buffs, he has the incinerates, he has that really odd burst damage after a retaliation or like even during the special attack, but his DPS is honestly pretty decent. He's not a top tier DPS or anything, but his damage output all in all is pretty dang solid. So he's not as bad as people think. That's what I think so far, but he is not at that super high level like the other Summoner's Choice characters are. Like Hercules and Quicksilver are both really strong champions, and we don't know about Gladiator so far just yet though. So here I dropped the SP1, he goes in and he just drops. So yeah, not too shabby here, and now let's go over their mechanics one more time. So Gladiator is kind of both an attacker and I guess a decent defender too, but honestly he would be an attack rank up, and he has some pretty strong utility. He counters miss, he counters evade, he has a ton of buffs, and these buffs have increased ability accuracy, so that's pretty great. He has access to some power burn and drain immunity, and what really sells him is his fight control. He has intimidate and he has unblockable, so that's always just a really nice combo pairing, and he has a pretty standard cosmic hit, but that unblockable and that intimidate really do help add to his overall power. So Gladiator, pretty cool champion, has some pretty interesting things. Now Terrax has a pretty standard kit too, but his just works. I feel like it just works. He has access to a ton of armor break, and that is really reliable because once an armor break is up, it stays there for the entire fight pretty much. He also has immunity to bleed, shock, and power control for metal characters, so a very unique immunity set to be honest, which is always a great thing to see. He has access to a lot of burst damage too. The rock field makes him a really strong burst champion overall because his DPS just gets a massive increase, and that heavy attack can just one-shot a lot of things. And just a pretty fun character too at that. And last but not least is Vox. Now Vox is just a pure attacker. On defense he gets wiped pretty hard because of his damage taken from Nullify, but on attack he has a ton of value because his damage output is really hard to counter. He is a degen DPS, and that just is an automatic like, wow, this guy has one of the rarest damage sources in the game by far, and it just works. It just works really well. And additionally, his buffs have increased ability accuracy, so you can't really stop him that way. He also has a miss and an auto block counter, as well as poison, power drain, power lock, power burn, and special lock immunity. So a pretty strong immunity set there, as well as some really strong utility. So Vox probably has the best kit out of all three of them, but they're all just pretty solid champions, right? And yeah, this is the big three characters, but also special shout out to Nova, Icarus, and Super Scroll. Champions that are pretty old, but I still enjoy them a ton. But yeah, who would you take up in this scenario? There are a lot of options here for sure. And let me know about the new account challenge as well. And yeah, that's about it for me.